Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
Yes, Premier League fixtures are out. Come on. Welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. I've been a giddy kipper today. I've been in a very good mood. Seeing those fixtures come out has made it feel also more real than it did prior. I'm buzzing. Even my exhaust falling off my car, which wasn't fun, hasn't dampened my mood today. Very, very happy with that opening day game as well. Monday night, under the lights, my favourite time I got Welling Road against Everton. Got that bit of bite there because we just don't like them, let's be fair. Should have been relegated in these last few years, let's be honest, and they've somehow wormed their way out of it. So, decent fixture. Could well, easily, hopefully, should pick up 3 points ahead of some more difficult games after that, but a relatively decent start to the season for Leeds United. So, obviously, we'll go through it and we'll have a chat about it. Had to come live tonight and chat about the fixtures and what's going on at Leeds. And yeah, I'm so giddy. I'm so excited. Just seeing his name, just seeing all those other average sides, you know, with Leeds United, the big boy next to him, all, just really excited. It's so good. No more looking when we play Millwall away in Bristol City, and just none of that tripe anymore. Like, hopefully now, fingers crossed, touch wood, this is us for good now. This is us for good. But yeah, it's been brilliant today. I've had a good day. Apart from my exhaust falling off my car, like I said. Danny, hey up, mate. Smash a like and subscribe, please. Yes, please do. Sean Healy, you know me on this channel. Danny bangs them in and I plug all the channels that my mates have. So Sean Healy's a new one. Marched on with Sean, you on with Sean. He's go check him out. He's done a fixtures release today too. I'll be watching it morning. I saw opening minute of it and he's really funny. So check him out. Great guy, Sean. Wilco Whites, my other mate Sean Carney, you know him well. Passion for Leeds, Callum. And Danny himself. Danny Rumsey. Danny Talks Leeds. And then there's mine as well. I wouldn't mind if people would like to go over and subscribe to my new channel, Full Time to Talk. I've just put out my first video today with Jake from Puncture 41, a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Did a stream last night. I've just put it out at 8 o'clock tonight. It's an hour long, talking all things mental health and football. He's discussing his condition, his disability of FND, which prevents him from working while trying to raise a young family and be that be that man of the house really, and tries to get through. Even though he battles it every day with his disability. So please go over and check that out. Please subscribe to Full Time to Talk. I'm going to try and get a podcast out every week. I'm really happy that Jay was my first guest. And yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's subscribed and watched so far. I really do appreciate it. Danny's gone to bed. No worries, Danny. I'll catch up with you on a mate. Hope you're all right, pal. March on with Sean. There he is. You won't see me being this late to do lives. Imagine being Matty. Imagine, mate. Honestly, I don't think it. Honestly, you want to see what goes on in my head. I just can't ever switch off. So keep yourself busy. We do. Smash a like and subscribe to our mate. Honestly, Jam, I say every time, but I love it that you call me out. Me out, Matty. I love that. Average size like scum. Exactly. I put I've done a TikTok video today. Well, I've done a couple actually. You know me with Bannon and stuff. I've gone in quite hard on TikTok, and one of my videos is almost at 100,000 views, which is mental. It's mental. Maybe sometimes get a couple of thousand, but 100,000 because, yeah, I give Scum a bit of stick on it, and it's gone like semi-viral. I guess for me, it's gone viral. I don't even read comments, but it's quite funny. Hey up everyone. Hey up Angela. Hope you've had a good day. Yeah, cracking video on Full Time to Talk. Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Sean. Really appreciate that. All right, Matty, mate. Mackham here. Both of our Decembers I discussed it. Oh, Harvey. Oh, but I tell you what, you've got a really, really good start, Harvey. No excuses, mate. No excuses. You've got a really good start. Like, I was shocked. I seen Wayne's video earlier, and I had to go check your fixtures out because I hadn't looked. You've got a great first 6 games. Like, if you're struggling after the first 6, then you know you're in trouble because that first 6 you need to pick up points, and it's a good time to sort of play. Everyone's a bit cold, you know. Great opening game for you as well. I think it's. I don't want to say it's too early to say must win and stuff like that, but you need to get some good points out of those first 6 games, Harvey. As everybody does, you need a good start. I think for us coming up, newly promoted sides, it's imperative we have a good start and get that momentum going in the right way. So yeah, you've definitely got the most favourable start in the division, I'd say. But ours isn't too bad either. Yeah, Jamie, get subscribed to Sean. Good lad, mate. Hey up, Aisha. Hope you're well. We're on a good week so far. 2 more days to go at the weekend, everyone. Almost there. Evening, mate. Hey up, buddy. Got 120 viewers on my Tanaka love letter. Yeah, not bad at all, Sean, that, mate. Yeah, go check it out. He's done a love letter for Tanaka. Yeah, it's classy. His classes are Sean. Sean. So, yeah, going to get into it. I'm going to bring it up. I know everyone's seen it already. But let's just go through it. Everton opening day. So there were rumours going around, weren't there, that we had Arsenal, I think, last night or maybe the day before that. I seen a few people mention the thought it'd be Liverpool, which I sort of went along with based on the last time we got promoted, Champions League champions and all that. But yeah, it's Everton. And I am honestly ecstatic with that because it's an exciting game. It's got a bit of bite, like I say. But it's a very winnable game for us. Very winnable game. I think when you look at Everton, are they going to be down fighting relegation? They'll probably say no. Moving stadiums, is that gonna catch them cold this season? Is it going to be a struggle for them, or is it going to give them a bit of a bounce in the right direction? I personally think Everton will be down there. I think Everton and Brentford are the 2 that stand out to me. I mean, Everton having David Moyes, they may be looking a bit higher. I don't know. Maybe it's because I just don't really like Everton. But yeah, I'm looking at Brentford to finish below Leeds. I'm looking at Manchester United to be finishing in and around Leeds. I reckon we can pip them. I reckon we'll take 6 points off them. But yeah, Brentford and Everton are the 2 I'm sort of thinking we will finish above. Wolves as well, you throw in there, and obviously Scum. So if we get it right in the transfer window, maybe we can finish higher than 16th, 17th, like people have sort of said. I've sort of said 15th, 16th. I think that's more realistic. Be interesting to see where we do actually end up. But it is looking at the games. Honestly, it's mad. I don't know why it's mad, to be fair, but it just feels mad to sort of, when we got promoted last time, we had COVID. We only got to enjoy it partly. By the time we could enjoy it, we were already on the slide, let's be fair. By the time we could go back into stadiums, we were already on the decline. We were struggling. It never felt like when we're going to the games, that half of that third season when I started going to every game, it was like sort of a third away through like Jesse Marsh season. It never felt like we were going to establish ourselves as a Prem side. It always felt like, and it was always going to happen that we were going to get relegated. So this feels fun. It feels exciting. It feels different. Everything, what's going on at the club, the signings that we look to be bringing in, the calibre of players we're looking at, it feels really exciting. It feels like we belong now. Say we belonged under Bielsa, but we're sat watching, sat on his asses at home, we're watching cardboard cut out, sat in the seats. But we didn't mind. We were loving it, but this feels different. Hey, mate. Hey up, Matt. How are you doing? How many points do you think we get from the first 6? Yeah. Honestly, I'm torn, really. So I like bantering. I really like bantering. And I'll go on TikTok and I'll do little videos and I'll say we're going to take points with everybody. Just it gets a bit of a bite, and I love that. But realistically, on here, I'll talk realistically, and you go through it, mate. Everton, I think 3 points. Arsenal, I think we get none. Bearing in mind, you've got the window to go. We've probably got 6 or 7 more players to still bring in yet. We don't know the side, but realistically, I'm going to go 3 against Everton, none against Arsenal. I'm going to go none against Newcastle, Although I think we can get some, it's at home and all that, but I'm going to go none. Fulham away, I think we get a point. That's 4. Wolves away, I think we get 3. That's 7. Bournemouth at home, I think we get 3. I'm going to go 10 points out of the opening 6, which I think isn't a bad return. That's pretty good. 3 wins and a draw out of the opening 6. I think everybody will be pleased with that. 10 points out of opening 18. What do you think, Matt? What do you think, buddy? That's a realistic gauge on it. Yeah. I think 10 points. Hey up, Michael. Yeah, they are, mate. They are. Massive. So you've got a really good run, mate. You've got a really good start. I've heard some outrageous predictions. 10 points first 5 games. Well, I've just said 10 first 6. So I've had another game on the top of that. So I think 10 out of first 6 is definitely doable. It's definitely doable. We don't lose versus Everton. The crowd will be bouncing. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Just, it's going to be. I don't think it'll even be nervy either, will it? I think it'll just be an exciting moment for players and fans. I think the crowd will be absolutely bouncing. It's going to feel like, you know, that promotion game as well at Elland Road. It's going to feel like that. Like I say, to the opening day of the Premier League, going into being a Premier League club, we didn't have that last time because of COVID. You know, we've got it this time. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be phenomenal. Man U always raise their game against us. They don't even care about us, apparently, Andy. They don't care about us. Don't see us like a rival. I've been told all day on TikTok. Don't even look at us like a rival. Apparently, they weren't even looking for Leeds United fixture. And I say bollocks to that. I say bollocks to that. Of course they were. I think first 5 games might be key. Yeah, you know what it is, mate, right? Like Everton, it's not a must-win. First game of the season, all that, right? You've got to be careful how you word things because none of these games are must-wins, right? But what I will say is momentum's key. Like, you don't want to be going on slide from off. You don't want to be, you know, not picking up a win in first 5 or 6 games because that momentum can just kill you. It's so hard to get your confidence going. You know, if we don't win till, you know, back end of September and you've gone 4, 5, 6 games without a win, that momentum's just going to be so hard to sort of flip and start pushing forward. So it is key. You start well. You start early. You know, you look at us and Sunderland. It's a decent start. Burnley, they've got an awful 6 games. For me, looking at Burnley's first 6, I already have them finishing bottom. And I know that it's a long season, and everybody has to play everybody. Obviously, we've all got the same fixtures, but depending what clusters of games you get and what difficult months you have at different times of season, it can affect, you know, it can give a different outcome, I think, to what you could be before you kick a ball at start of season, depending how the fixtures land. If you have the top 6 from last season in your first 6 games and you lose all 6, how do you flip that? Even though you've all got to play the same games home and away, depending what order they're falling does have an impact, I think, of where your season ends up for me. Yeah, it does, Michael, 100%. Hey up, Shag. How are you doing? 33 in chat, only 15 likes. Please give me some more likes, folks. Please like, please subscribe. Much appreciated. Hey up, Mike. Evening, Matty. HMS Pistol League is back, ready to go again. Yeah, man. Some months only 3 matches, some months 6 matches. Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it? You said 13 points. Oof, match on my Sean. 11 here. David Moyes is no mug. No, he ain't, mate. He ain't. I just think when you look at the other sides in the division, I'd say Everton. I don't see Everton finishing, you know, higher than 12. Anyone 13 and lower than that are going to be in the mix with us, I think. I'm not much of a predictor, but there's definitely points there in the first 6. Yeah, 100%. Beat Everton, lose to Arsenal. Beat Everton, lose to Arsenal and Newcastle, and Fulham beat Wolves, draw versus Bournemouth. So 7 points. Oof. Wow, I thought you were going to get somewhere close to me, Matt. Yeah, they don't, mate. Apparently they don't care about us, mate, but they sing about us all the time. Every game they sing about Leeds United, but they don't care about us. Scum still sing about us in their stands. Yeah, they do, mate. BMG, how you doing, mate? All right. How many points do I think we'll need to stay up? So I watched a bit of Connor's channel earlier. It said minimum 32. You could see us getting a maximum of 40. I think 32 you go down, if I'm honest. I've got a feeling that the bottom 2 may be similar to last season. And like I've said many times on it, I hope, you know, I'd love it in an ideal world. We'd be well clear and Sunderland to stay up. You know, I've got a few mates, as you know, Wayne as well, and I'd love them to stay up and continue our content and stuff beyond this season. Because we're going to have a weekly show, me and Wayne, on the Fools and SAFC. We're going to have a weekly show when we come on and we speak about each other's games as well, which I'm excited for. But as it stands now, I would predict Sunderland and Burnley go back down, just because I think they've got the most work to do in the transfer window. I think Burnley will go down. The key part of their success getting promoted with their defence, it's already getting broken up. Egan Riley's going. Let's be fair, Trafford's definitely going to move on as well. They've lost Brownhill by the looks of it. He's left. He'll be moving on to pastures new. They're going to struggle at Burnley, I think. And the start just doesn't help at all. So I think the bottom two may have a low points tally. I think us and maybe 3 or 4 in and around that last place. I reckon I've said 40, 42, I think, is what we'll get. Danny messaged me earlier. Danny talks Leeds, and he actually said we'd get 53 or something, 53 and 54, which I would gobsmacked at Danny, because sometimes he comes out with some controversial stuff, sometimes for the worse. And I didn't think he'd expect anywhere near that. But I'm thinking around the 40, but just over, maybe 42 points, which I think will see us stay up by 6-7 points, if I'm honest. But it's a difficult one to call. I know everyone says that magical 40 points. It hasn't been that recently. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go Leeds. He'll get about 42, 43 points, which I think will see us about 15th or 16th. But there's scope to be a bit higher than that. Yeah, I can't wait, Ian. I cannot wait for that game. And I will sing from the rooftops and chant from the rooftops that we are going to smash them. And then, if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to go invisible for a few days. Leeds might win the odd hard match, but capitulate against Wigan. I hope not, Andy. I hope not. We need to be beating the teams around us and picking up some of these miracle wins, like we saw under Bielsa with us away to City. You know, we can definitely do stuff like that. 36 for me. November to Jan 7th is very different. Yeah, there's some, honestly, the December run just looks brutal, doesn't it? When you look at that, Liverpool twice. Absolute brutality. Chelsea, Liverpool twice. Brentford, Palace and Sunderland is a nice little pocket of games there, though, over that 2-week period. And it is over Christmas festive period, so what can sort of happen with that? You know, it's an unusual time of year, a lot of games, a lot of stuff going on. It might not be a bad time to play Liverpool on 30th and scum, obviously, New Year, just because, like I said, festive period, it can sort of throw up a few surprises, that guy, because of the amount of games you play. It's not a standard, you know, 1 game a week sort of period of time. Like I say, there are 6 games in December, 5 games in January. It's a lot of games, 11 games crammed into those 2 months. So there's a lot of football to be played. There'll be injuries. There'll be all sorts of players linked with moves in January that might throw stuff up. So that back end of December and start of Jan, you know, playing your Liverpool, playing your scum, it's not a bad time to play him, I don't think. Didn't look for the first few games. I was just locked on those games against the dirty mags at the road. Yeah, I knew that bit first game you looked for, Harvey. I knew it. Welcome to the new names in the chat. Smash a like and subscribe to our mighty. Cheers, Jamie. Yeah, please stick a like, subscribe if you're new here. Thank you. Clusters of games will affect us, but we don't really know who will be on form at what point. Scum and Spurs were there for the taking last season, which wasn't really expected. Yeah, I don't expect them. If I'm honest, I don't expect them off seasons as bad. I expect Spurs to improve under Thomas Frank. I do. I think Scum might improve on 16th potentially. It's hard to believe them finishing 16th again, but I've called it. I put my chest out and I said we'll finish above Scum. And that might be just ridiculous, but solid. I'm just going to say it. It's not very often we can even say anything remotely close to that, but we finished top of our division and they finished 16th. There were only 5 places separating us and Scum in the English table. So in the English pyramid, there were 5 or 6 places separating us. So if there's ever been a time to say we can do Scum, you know, 2 wins out of 2 and we can finish above them, this is the time. This is the time. So sod it. I think you'll do a job on Everton, to be fair, Ellen Road. But yeah, I think it's opening day at Ellen Road. If you take away those, you know, the obvious hard games away to City. So I think the first day of season when nobody knows how Leeds are going to play, to rock up at Ellen Road, I think that's a really tough opening game for anybody. And that'd have been if City had been coming, Liverpool had been coming. I think for it to be at Ellen Road, that first season back, like I say, you got to think we got starved a bit with COVID. Yeah, we went to games at Ellen Road, but we're already on slide. We didn't have that opening game against Liverpool away, where when it was unreal, we lost 4-3, nobody in crowd there. We were bouncing, we were waiting for that. This is our moment now as fans to show the Premier League what we've got as a fan base, with the expectancy and the excitement there, expecting us to do well, thinking we're going to build on this. We've got a new stadium. We've got redevelopment of our stadium, in the works. All this only happens if Leeds are successful in Premier League. So there's an expectation there, a level of pressure on players, a massive level of pressure on Farker and 49ers. But I honestly believe away at Ellen Road on the opening day is going to be so difficult for Everton. So difficult. If we could get draws at Newcastle and Arsenal, it'd be fantastic. Yeah, and you know what it is? There's a chance we could do that. Massive chance we can do that. You think if we beat Everton and then we go away to Arsenal and do a good account of ourselves and don't get slapped up, which I don't expect us to get slapped up this season, I think we'll be a little bit more solid than we've seen previous in Premier League. Then Newcastle have got to come. If we've picked up 3 points out opening two and done okay at Arsenal, or heaven forbid we bloody get a point or more, Newcastle all of a sudden becomes such a difficult task for them to come to Ellen Road. I think Ellen Road has to be a fortress for us. That don't mean, we ain't going to go all season unbeaten. We ain't going to go all season with just 1 or 2 losses at Ellen Road. I think I'm going to be walking away from Ellen Road this season with a lot more gutted, a lot more sadder down walks with Priestley to the car than I have experienced in the last 2.5 years since going religiously. I think there's going to be a lot more heartache this season at Ellen Road, but I think, we don't have to win every game like we've had to for the last 2 seasons. We've had to win every game or close to every game to get the points to get promoted. 90 points, you had to get 90 plus points, didn't you, to have a chance of going up. So we have to win every home game, basically. And most of us away games. It's not like that now. 11 wins at sea on 33 points, pick up 6 or 7 draws and you're there, aren't you? So if you can get a result, 11 wins and 6 or 7, that's 19 games. You get a result if you win half of them, and then you've got neon 20 games there you can lose. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. So even to stay up and have some good wins in there still means you're going to lose a hell of a lot of football, a hell of a lot of matches. But it is what it is. It's the nature of the Premier League. We don't have to win every game now. We've got to beat certain sides around us or who we think are going to be around us, and Everton's one of them for me. Then there's other games, and I don't want to use the word free. I'm going to say I'm not going to use that word, those words on this channel, but it may come out because there'll be games where I'll be excited for, but I won't be disappointed if we lose. And we know those sides. I don't hear really like that back to you. But there'll be games where I want them to perform. I want them to give it the best. But if they fall short, they fall short. And I can accept that as a fan. There will be games like that. But Everton, that's the game we need to be going out and getting 3 points. Yeah, it is, Sean. It really is. Consistency is key. Of course, it's so difficult, though, Michael, to build consistency when you're a newly promoted side, where every second or third game you're hitting a European side. What I will say, and I will caveat that we're saying, 9 sides in Premier League are playing European football this season. That's got to give the sides who aren't in Europe a bit of a boost, a bit of a shot in the arm that they've got to play more games. They've got to build a thicker squad. They'll have decent squads to cope with that. But some of these sides playing Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. We haven't got that. Yeah, we've got the cup for probably a round or 2 before we throw the towel in. But we're going to be solely focused on league. No else will matter. A lot of these sides, as you've seen this season with Tottenham, 17th Tottenham in the won Europa League. They were so lucky. The 18th, 19th and 20th were so garbage that they weren't ever in a relegation fight. Because you imagine the different mentality, the difference in maybe Tottenham don't win that Europa League. Maybe they don't get to final. Maybe Scum don't get to final if there's only a point between 18th and 16th. Last season were balmy at the bottom of the table. They were 16 and 17 flirting with, being down there, but they were never really flirting with relegation because of how poor the other 3 were. Maybe if that had been different and tighter, maybe they wouldn't have won Europa League. So, evening, Lee. Hope you're well, buddy. Rent paid. Thank you very much. Fancy us against Everton. Other 2 are tough. Yeah, they are tough. But you're going to get tough games, aren't you? And we know that, Lee, don't we? It sounds corny, but take each game as it comes. We will have a good chance. There's quite a few in the Premier League. Yeah, well, it isn't it? I'm going to enjoy it as well. It's going to be like I say, it's not going to be as enjoyable in terms of points and results, but I'm going to enjoy it. And there's some players I'm really excited to see how good they are. Tanaka's one of them. Ramazani, James, I want to see the improvement in Bogle. There's some players I'm really excited to see, just as a football fan, how good they are. You know, are they up to the level I believe they can be? 32 points, not a bad shout. But if Burnley and Sunderland perform as expected, we only need one other team to tank. Wolves or Brentford 14. Yeah, I think they're the obvious ones to point out, BMG. We think we'll stay up. Out of everybody, you know, with Leeds fans, maybe we won't, we'll have to see, but I think we'd back ourselves to stay up. It's hard to envisage two newly promoted sides staying up. It's hard to envisage, it's not impossible. But just what means this chat now, if you dismiss the other two, which I don't want to, but if we do, I think Brentford and Wolves are definitely the two you'd have to look at as being most likely to be in and around it. You can throw Everton in there. Am I daft in saying Scum? Do we all think Scum are a top 10 side and they've just slipped away? Because, yeah, they're not a top 4 side anymore, Scum. That's a fact, and they'll tell you that themselves. But are they a top 10 side? Take last year out, you'd probably say they are, aren't they? They are. They should be, with the money they spend. They're not a top 4, that's gone. There should be 7th, 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th. That should be that's probably where they see themselves. They were way off it. Are they going to get to that position next season without European football? Am I daft suggesting they'll be in and around it with us? I hope they are. Fantastic, won't it? I'd love to get your thoughts on what you actually think about Scum. If you take that rivalry and hatred away and just strip it back, will Scum next season be a top 10 side? What do you think? Weirdly, we need Sunderland and Burnley to finish bottom 2, but not by a lot. They need to take points of other clubs. Yeah, they do. They do. I think Burnley, honestly, I think Burnley are really going to struggle. I think Sunderland, with the fan base, if they can make the stadium a bit of a fortress, they've got that going for them. You know, it's amazing fans, Sunderland, but they've got so much to do with market. You know, they've lost 2 of the best players. They've got so much to do with market. We might get a strong nucleus of 18 to 20 players, but I feel Daniel will only use 30 to 14 players. Well, if he only uses 13 to 14 players, Andy, we're going down, mate. We can't stay up with 13 or 14 players. But I get what you mean. You know, your full 11, which he'll stick with if there's no injuries, and then a couple off at bench. I get that. He's got to adapt. He's got to learn. We've got to give him the tools that he trusts. You know, good work, man. Never blames his tools if he trusts them. He's got to trust who he's got. And that comes down to recruitment. We know who we trust now. We know that 11. Pretty much, if we had to name it now, we'd sort of know who we're going to pick. Take the few out that we've lost, obviously. But the players that we bring in, he's got to be fully behind, or there's no point bringing him in. We saw it with Schmidt last season. We can't have another Schmidt this season. We saw it with, you know, Jayden Anthony year before and Cresswell. We can't be having that this season. That nucleus there, 13 and 14, it needs to be 18, 20 that he trusts. The squad needs to be beyond that, 23, 24 players that at any time can come in and do a job. I think 35 we will be safe. Seems low, that, doesn't it? But yeah, maybe. I'm in melting mode, lad. Don't need to go abroad these days. No, you don't, mate. You don't. Yeah, Robbo. I'm here, mate. Hey up, Philip. Hope you're well, mate. I am buzzing at the fixture out. Everton first match. That's all good with me. Yeah, too right. I mean, I'd have been happy with, you know, a Liverpool or whatever, but it is important, Philip, to hit the ground running. So Everton gives us an opportunity to do that. And I know he can win every game, but Everton really gives us an opportunity to get giddy for the opening game, thinking we can get 3 points here. Third, Jan Beckford at Old Trafford might be a good omen. Yeah, I mean, apparently they're going to change. They will change it for Sky, won't they? Let's have it. They will change it for Sky. Let's get rid of that. I've heard if Joseph is sold for 8.5, it counts as 42.5 for PSR. Shall Mateo become our sacrificial lamb? Well, yes. I've heard that too. I can't tell you why that even works, because in my head, 8.5 million don't turn into 42.5, but someone smart has probably told you that, and that's fine if that's the case. Yeah, I mean, I let's be fair, right? We're linked now with Muniz from Fulham, and we've actually put a bid in 20 odd million, right? Massive money, huge money for us. Like, I like the profile of the player, I like the player, I do. 8 goals, I think, and 8 starts plus some appearances, but haven't played much football, but it looks like they want a lot of money for him. Great player though. And Metch has already come in. I'm happy with Pirro. We get Mooney, that'd be free. Then you've still got Bamford and Joseph. We don't need 5. Bamford may sit there as 4th choice, maybe, and try and push for an England spot. No. Sorry, Patrick, if you're watching, but it made me laugh. But yeah, I think Joseph goes. When we sign another 9, the fact we brought in a Metcha, I think that means Joseph goes. I think to bring in another 9 like a Muniz and have Pirro and then have Joseph and Bamford, it may have stuck around. The fact that we signed a Metcha says to me that he ain't staying now, mate. It does. Michael, the hardest part will be if we start losing to a bunch of the doubters who will always predict promoted teams to come straight back down. We'll come out there, we'll work that. Yeah. We're going to lose a lot of games. We're going to draw a lot of games. And we're going to have to put up with it, Leeds fans. Leeds are falling apart again when we go 1-0 down to a City. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have to put up with that. We're going to hear that so many times this season. And we're not falling apart again. We're just not going to be top of league. We're not going to be 8th. We're not going to be 10th. We might be 15th, 14th, 16th, 17th, whatever. We ain't going to go down in my book. But we're going to hear that a lot. Every time we drop points, Leeds are falling apart again. It gets so irritating. Bring on 3rd of Jan mini players too, right, man. I can't wait. Cannot wait. We'll need some quality sides like Bijol. Hopefully, he's put some depth like a Metcha. Small squad struggle with injury and suspension at the arse end of the season. Yeah, I mean, obviously we used to play more games. So there isn't as many games to play. The physicality is going to be a lot more than what we've been used to in Championship. It's going to be really, really physical. I like this kind of plays we're looking at. It sort of points in that direction that he knows that, and he knows that spine needs to be, a lot. We need more of an engine in midfield. We need a bit more height and solidarity and a bit of a stopper in defence, which Bijol is. I'm so happy with that signing. I know it's not official from club yet, but we know he's been having a medical. That should get announced tomorrow, I would assume. But yeah, I think the quality of play we're looking at goes to show we're not doing an Ipswich. We're not storing players based on being a Championship player side next season. No, we're not doing that. We're not just stockpiling Championship players just in case. We're not. And you know what I found? What I think is quite poignant as well. We are not 100% not, and I don't need anyone to tell me. No one in the know to tell me. It's just factual now. Yeah, Leeds United will not be putting any of these fucking release clauses in anyone's contracts. Fact. There's no fucking way will we do that as a football club again. They won't do that. Which makes it harder, in my book, to attract a top player like a Bijol, like a Diarra. Because how do you attract them? Before we attracted them, your Rafinhas and all them idiots we signed before, who may have looked at it and gone, the chances you're going to go back down. Don't worry about that, guys. Look at this. If you go down, release contract. Someone hits that figure, you're gone. No, sorry. Someone offers you a loan, you're gone. Easy. You know you're going to get that move. We ain't going to offer that. So that should play against us a little bit, really. That should make it harder to sign these players. Someone like Bijol, who isn't going to get that release contract, who next season could be a Championship player if it goes tits up. Goes to show you, when they walk around the stadium, when they walk down the training facilities, when they talk to the guys at the top of the tree, when they speak to Daniel Farker, the plans in place are exciting. It's making top talent in Europe wanting to come and sign with us without a fucking release contract. Because they know we're here for a good time and a fucking long time. They know that they can see it. The project's massive. The project's exciting. There's no need to dangle that carrot of, Can you imagine that? We actually had a board. We actually had a club, people running our club, who actually didn't believe we'd stay up. For me, to put that many release contracts in people's contracts, they didn't believe it. When they're trying to sign a Tyler Adams or a Jack Addison on no contract, or anybody that, who left, Brendan Amundsen, Max Vober, and they turn around and go, oh, you might go down next season. I want a release contract. They weren't strong enough to go, we aren't going to go down next season. Stick that up your jacksie. We ain't giving you that. We're Leeds United. We don't do that. We're not a charity. You come to play for us and you back us. And if we go down, we fucking go down and come back up together. That's what you'll get from these guys. None of that shit. And I love that. And we're still making signings like this. We're still bringing in a Bijol who's part of it, who can see the vision, who wants to be part of this. Excited or what? Come on. Buzzing. Buzzing, man, honestly. Referring to Manu as scum on TikTok has given me a first warning. Well, I called them scum on a few things, mate. It is what it is. If I get a warning, I get a warning. If we beat Everton, it will be huge. I hope we attack like hell and play without fear. I hope so too, mate. I hope so too. I do think we'll be a little bit more pragmatic, but it would be nice to see us. It would be nice under Bielsa to see us just go up yours. We're off for it. We're just doing our thing. But eventually, it took its toll, didn't it? Yeah, really hard, Robbo. Really hard. But Arsenal, I think Farkas shot people and play 5 at the back. I'm hoping we see a bit of growth in Farkas tactics, Matt. I really do. I really, really do. You know, you look at that now, you know, with Pascal, Biol and Rodon, there's an opportunity there for 3 centre-halves to be playing. If we don't bring in that attacking 10, that really exciting 10 that I hope we do, is he going to look at maybe, you know, putting a 5 at the back, playing a 4-3-3 at times, bringing in, another midfielder? I'm hoping we see progression and growth in Farkas tactics for me. I hope he's learned that you can't just do one way fits all, because there'll be games where going away, we saw it last season once, didn't we, away at Burnley, where I felt like we went there for a point and we got it, and it was boring and we hated it because we think, you know, we're better than Burnley. Go win the game. In the Premier League, I don't think we'll mind as much if we do that approach. There'll be games where we do sit back, sit in the low block. We haven't really seen it as a Leeds United side. It's not what we do, but there'll be times when it's these moments where we should do that and we should play like that to give us the best opportunity to get in a point, which ultimately gives us enough to stay up come end of the season. I don't mind being an underdog goes with Leeds United. Of course it does, Jamie. Of course it does. Scumchester United will fall apart again this season. It's going to be funny watching it play out. I hope so, buddy. No more Matty meltdowns in the car with Priestley. There'll be a few, I think. We'll have to see. Like I say, it depends what game it's done it. If we lose to Everton on first game of the season, mate, I'll be fuming. I'll be fuming. Yeah, they will, Matt. They will. I just hope people are realistic. You know, I really do. I mean, if we pick up 1 point in opening 3 games or something, or even if we beat Everton and then we lose next 2, I'm hoping people are realistic. I really do. There's a time and a place to call for someone's head, and I hope if it does come, I hope it's justified and it's fair. I hope it doesn't come because it means we're struggling. I back him to stay out of the relegation zone by enough points. We may flirt with it. That's okay. What can we expect? You know what I mean? Like, we can't expect to be 10, 15 points clear all season. That ain't realistic for me. But as long as you see the players playing for the badge, getting the odd result, making Ellen Road a bit of a fortress, if we're flirting with it, but you can see, we are definitely better than 3, 4, 5 teams, then I just hope everyone's realistic in their expectation. I really do. Brentford Wolves, Bournemouth will struggle. Yeah, I think so. I think Bournemouth will be best out of them. I really do. But Brentford and Wolves, I'm tipping to potentially go down. I feel totally confident that Leeds will finish top 10. I don't buy all the nonsense about Bournemouth, Fulham, Wolves, Everton, Brighton, or any of the top teams are better than us. I never will. Wow, easy. Wow. But you don't really rate Farker. So I'm surprised that you think we'll finish in top 10. Wow. Fair play. I love the optimism. You Priestley in disguise. You Priestley in disguise. Priestley thinks we're going to win World Cup. It's fucking nuts. Mr. Whitesnake, hey up, Stevie. Win/draw home games. Win a few away. Maybe 6+ gives us a reasonable amount of points. I believe we will do better than most people. I hope so, mate. I hope so. I think I stuck my neck out long and didn't answer 14th or 15th. One of them two. 14th or 15th, which would be a great season. Great season to build on. Finished 9th under Bielsa, didn't we? And that made a lot of people think we were potentially 1 or 2 players away from Champions League year after I even heard that. You know, I remember Joe Wayman, my buddy, saying, get the passports out. I even said it myself. But we were way off, weren't we? We overachieved that first year. Overachieving a bit too early it can be a bad thing, but obviously give me 9th again. I'll take it. Bite your fucking hand off. But yeah, I think we'll be fine. It's so hard to gauge because we don't, it's all right thinking what we might do. We haven't got a clue what some of these sides are even going to look like. With Thomas Frank going to Tottenham, we're all writing Brentford off, aren't we? We're all like, Brentford are done. We don't know that, do we? Brentford don't get much wrong. They sold Tony. They still compete. They're still a good side. There's a lot of ways we can look at it, but as long as we do our bit, as long as we can make Ellen Road a fortress, and like Stevie says, man, pick up some, the odd win away, which we will do. I don't think we'll win every home game or draw. We're going to lose some at home. 100% we are. But make it as close to a fortress as we can have it. Make that, as a fan, I'll do my bit. We'll do us bits as fans to help the team, because we are like a 12th man at Ellen Road. We are, at times last season, it's going to be really good to see the atmosphere. At times last season, it were a little bit stagnant, and I can say that I were there. I witnessed it, I felt it, and that was, I think, just expecting to win most games, all games. To be fair, when we were behind, it tended to pick up a little bit to drive the players on. When we were winning by a goal, it was a little bit like, yeah, it's what we expect. Premier League, I think it's gonna have to go up a notch or two, but I believe it's gonna blow the fucking roof. If I'm honest, I think Ellen Road's gonna be rocking, absolutely rocking. And we best when we're under Kosh as Leeds fans, as Leeds as a club. We're better when we're under Kosh, when we're underdogs, when his back's against the wall, we'll come out swinging, and I think we'll do well. Remember that likes of Brighton, Fulham are now decent teams, and Scum Spurs aren't. At least if they carry on that last season, bear that in mind when we assess games. Yeah, very true, mate. Yeah, he did, mate. He did with Simicast. Match on Sean. Matt Leeds, look at my reaction to the fixture. It took me 5 minutes to mention Fak being sacked. Cups are nothing. Europe is a league these days. So, yeah, that could be. Yeah, I think it is, mate. The fact there's so many teams playing in Europe, it's yeah, it's extra games, like being in Cup and stuff like that. But you're right, mate. European games, you're flying. I mean, Conference League and that, you're flying to some bizarre countries, aren't you? You're flying all over the shop to play these games, and then 3 days later you're playing a Leeds United who might be fresh and not kicked a ball for 7 days, and you played in Russia 3 days ago. It's definitely gonna aid people who are in Europe, I think. We have West Ham on opening day. Yeah, you do, mate. At Stadium of Light, we'll still be rocking from the 120 Ballard header, mate. That was the most uncomfortable, unnatural header I've ever seen. But what a goal! And it doesn't matter how it goes, then does it? An 8-year absence from the Premier will be bouncing with 48k packed out house. Yeah, it'll be unreal. It'll be unreal, mate. I'm so happy for you. The way you went up as well. It's the dream scenario. So yeah. I thought, we had the dream scenario, winning the league and all that. It was brilliant. And we had like 3 weekends of pure celebration. It was that last month of season will live with me forever. Unbelievable moments, parade and all that. I don't think you guys had a parade, did you? Away season, which is shocking. You couldn't squeeze a parade in. I don't think, anyway. Maybe you can tell me otherwise. I'm sure Wayne said there were nothing. But we got to experience all that, which is brilliant. But yeah, going up at Wembley, mate, fair play. Do you think we should keep Joseph and use him in rotation? I don't now, mate. No, my opinion would just loan him out. Loan him out and see where he's in 12 months. Loan him out to an half-decent side. I don't think Betis will loan him. I think Betis see an opportunity now to get him as low as they're going to get him. I think if he goes out on loan somewhere half-decent, I think he'll do better. Hence, his price will rise. I think the fact that we've got a Metcher, we've got Pido, and we are looking to sign a top 9. We've seen that way with a lad at Fulham, Munez. We've seen links with that. We're happy to pay up past 30 million quid. If that don't happen, we know what kind of ballpark money figure Leeds are looking at. That's a starting 9. That'd put Pido, the starting 9 we sign, and a Metcher, Joseph and Bamford. For me, we don't need 5. Bamford's probably the hardest one to get rid of. Joseph has interest. Joseph, for me, will move on, mate. Whether I think we should keep him or not, loan him, because I think he's got a high ceiling. I think he could be a really good player in years to come. But I also think he ain't going to be a good enough starter for Leeds in the next couple of seasons at least. So I think a lot of things in life are about timing. We saw it with Joffrey. We thought, Joffrey. I said Joffrey will play for England. I don't see that ever happening now. He's looking at going to Wrexham. Decent move for him right now. But tell me he's going to Wrexham 3 years ago. Don't get me wrong, Wrexham were down here 3 years ago. But I'd have laughed at you. I'd have laughed at you. 3 years ago, I thought, as I said, Joffrey would have been our starting player now, going into Prem. Nowhere near. So yeah, time is everything, and I just think it just don't work out. I'm hoping someone like Harry Gray, the timing will be right, because it's always scary in Premier League now. When will Harry Gray ever be good enough for a chance? Ever be old enough for a chance? I hope he does, but that worries me when you get to that level. Obviously Premier League level. Go another year or two, we want to be pushing up the table, and then all of a sudden, you're looking at sticking a 19-year-old Harry Graham when you might be looking at pushing Europe. It's so difficult to give these youngsters a chance when you're in Premier League. It's so difficult. Teams in Europe also more chances of injury, mate. Yeah, to key players, 100%. As long as we're above the relegation zone, we're expecting losses. So won't really. Yeah, and you know what it is as well, Robbo? If, say, we're 16th, 15th, 16th, which I think will be, most of the season, say, maybe hopefully a little bit higher. It's not like when you're at top of Championship, though, when you drop points and the 2 or 3 rounds you, win. because ultimately they are the best sides in the league. When we're 15th, 16th and we drop points, chances are 17th to 20th have all dropped points as well. You know, you're not going to end up in a position where the 4 or 5 below you all win. It's just not going to happen because the quality's not there. They're not used to winning. But when you're at the top of the table, like we've been fighting for, you know, every time we've been in Championship, the last 3, 4, 5 times we've been down there, been vying for that top spot, vying for promotion. You have to win every game, because if you don't, the sides in and around you do win every game because they're the best side in the division. That's not the same in the Premier League. They're down the bottom for a reason. Scum unlikely to be as poor as last season. Yeah, I think so. I think they'll improve slightly. I just hope it's not too much. Nobody knows in the Prem that could help. We could sneak up on a few teams. Yeah, 100%, mate. Sunderland people are really nice in my experience. Yeah, the class. Oh, everyone in North East, mate. I've never had a problem with them up there. On any day, any given side can do anything to anyone. Yeah, they can. On any given day, it can happen. I just don't think there's that many any given days over the course of the season. I think it sort of levels out to where you are supposed to be, and your quality allows you to finish over 38 games. I think it usually plays out as it should. You know, I don't think you're far off. There'll be an outlier. There'll be someone who shocks. You know, whoever thought Leicester would win Premier League, 10 years ago now, I think it is. You do have the odd outlier that shock you. But you are wrong over 38 games. I think it usually levels out. But yeah, 100% on any given day, we will shock a few teams. Maybe it won't even be a shock to us, but we will beat some sides that are expecting to give us an hiding. Yeah, they have, mate. They have. It's mad, innit, to get promoted and start losing your best players. It's mad. You could argue most of our squad would struggle unless they have quality around them. Sunderland barely have any Prem quality players. Surely they can't strengthen significantly. Yeah, that's my worry for Sunderland and Burnley. I think they've got too much to do. I think we've got, although I think a spine needs improving, I think we've got a decent amount. We've got more Prem-ready players and players who've played in Prem, players who I think can play in the Prem, who maybe haven't been before, like your Tanakas and stuff. I think we've got enough of them to build on. And when you look at the calibre of player we're signing, and it's not just going to be 1 or 2, I think we're actually looking, you know, I think the signings we're looking at, and I believe we'll get, you know, maybe 4 or 5 of these really, really positive, exciting talents who've played in top 5 leagues. I don't think Burnley and Sunderland will get that many. I don't think I could see, you know, the sort of players we've been linked with, you know, your Vardys, your Wilsons, your Longstaff. I like Longstaff, by the way, but you know, some of these players we sort of know who've been in Premier, I could see them going for a few of them. You know, like they're looking at bringing Jordan Henderson in for experience. Great, you know, still playing for England, still a top player. But I'd rather have someone like Diarra, 21-year-old, got that, you know, captain's armband already, shown as a leader. I think got more in his locker than a Jordan Henderson, got more legs, got a better engine, you know, and can go up and down. You know, he's got, 12 years, his youth. I think the calibre of player we're looking at is exciting all Leeds fans, if I'm honest. All of us are excited by it. Yeah, they do, mate, they do. You're allowed 9 subs on the bench, but allowed to use 5. Ideal scenario up front, in my opinion, is loan Joseph, flog Bamford and get 20 million plus beast. And yeah, I agree with that, mate. We lost Watson for 10 mil, who was our backup winger, and Bellingham for 38 million. Yeah, class business to sell him, to be fair. He's not worth that at the minute. It's potential. We need to now try and still. Yeah, 100%. But they're both top players for you. You know, yeah, we're a backup winger, but he got the goal that got you up. Very highly rated, or he wouldn't be going to Brighton. So for me, if Brighton want him, he's definitely good enough for Sunderland, Harvey. Bellingham, 100%. Inflated price, down to the name. Everybody knows that. You know, I can't remember his name. There's a lad at Coventry. Rodon, I can't remember his name now. Smashed Bellingham out of park, but he ain't called Bellingham. So he would go for nowhere near that kind of money. But still a big loss for you. Still a hole you've got to go fill. Still a void. I am not worried, as we are Leeds United and capable of great things. On any given day, any side can win, lose, draw. They are not expecting. Yeah, I get that, mate. I think the physicality is still high in the Championship, but it's cruder. Prem is more athletic and better quality. Subtle differences, but it's more physical per. Yeah, I mean, the Championship is brutal. It's physical in the terms of you just got some absolute meathead just coming in back here every time you try to hold ball up. Some of these players aren't technically gifted. You know, you're going away to some awful grounds in Millwalls and stuff where you are just going to get some meat and potatoes. Play just kick lumps at you. You know, so it is physical in that sense. Prem, though, you've got to have an engine. You've got to be athletic. You've got to be able to go for 90 minutes up and down. It's relentless. And up here as well, you've just got to stay physically and mentally switched on, because at any given time, 90th minute when you're on your ass, knackered. You've got players like, your Kevin De Bruyne, I know he's not there now, but that talent who can just unpick the lock with one pass and they stay switched on to the 99th minute, usually now. With how football's changed. 90 minutes are gone, aren't they? We had a massive club goes in our favour. Yeah, we're huge, mate. Absolutely huge. I hope we don't get Simicas. Hasn't played. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him. I quite like Simicas, but it's not happening, mate. According to Joe, the 49ers are looking at players who are strong and physical, stating that is a key factor for us. Yeah, well, it looks that way, doesn't it? Every player we link with is definitely got that in the locker, mate. Signing Be-all could encourage other good players to take notice. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Sometimes in life, mate, it only takes one domino to fall in it, and then they all follow. Did you class Leeds previous season a failure or a learning curve? Previous season, which one? The one we didn't come up on, the first season we lost at Wembley. Disappointment, failure, but I always knew we'd bounce back. So both, mate. Here's a learning curve. Whenever you fail at something, it's a learning curve. I believe you've got to fail to succeed at whatever you want to do in life. You've got to fail first. I think if you succeed at first time, for me, it's somewhere along the line, you're going to slip. You're going to slip. You only learn from your mistakes. For me, you don't learn from your wins. You learn from your losses. So, third time looking for Fark in the Prem. Yeah, I believe so, mate. I want to see the new kid. It gets you. Yeah, it does, mate. It does. It does. I hope Farker makes it clear to the players that no one is guaranteed a start. Yeah, I hope so too. I think there's too many players under Farker who sort of know they're in no matter what. And there's a few players under Farker who know they're not in no matter what. You've seen that already. I'm hoping Ramazani can force his way into his thinking. I really do. Bringing players in who've never played in the Prem is something to keep an eye on. They perform well in the Prem, then it's all guns blazing. Yeah, it's risky, innit? It's a tussle. You get players who's played in Prem, you're paying that Prem tax because you're probably buying them from a Prem side, and you always want to pay more. But you can go, the numbers and the eye test are relevant because they're playing in the Prem, so you can gauge all your information and whether you think they're going to work or not off what you've seen in the division and at the level that they're going to be playing for you. When you're looking at players from France and Germany and Italy, it's a bit more of a risk, and Spain, it's a bit more of a risk, but it is still a decent level. And if you get players from the teams that have played high up in those divisions, chances are they played European football. Like Diarra's played 10 Europa League games. That's a lot. That's a lot of football. Yeah, it's in France. It's not for PSG. It's not for one of the top sides, but he's still played in Europe. And all you can do is gauge it on that. But the money you save on not paying that English tax or that Premier League tax, it means you can invest it and spread it thinner across your squad. So it's a gamble. But yeah, I think that's where your scouting comes in. It's not just the case of, it looks all right on YouTube. Like, we've got to gauge it because we don't watch them as much as scouts do. That's where hours and weeks and months and years of scouting gets put into. That's where all that funding and money goes. And hopefully you've got the right people to make the right decision. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, please stick a like on the video, please. Apparently it gets pushed to more people. And please subscribe if you're new here. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Well, Bielsa got us the top 10. He did, mate. My God, he did. Newcastle managed to get a few players in that January when they were bottom of the league and cheated survival. Yeah, then they pushed up, didn't they? Trippier, etc. Dan Burn, I think, as well. They got a few, didn't they? Thinking of playing three at the back, how does that work in layman's terms? Well, 3 centre-halves and then 2 wing-backs. So Jaden Bogle out on right, whoever bring on at left, they can play a little bit higher, knowing that you've got a bit more security in defence. Makes you more of a threat from set pieces as well. Defending set pieces, you're potentially dropping your 10, taking your 10 out to put another defender in. So you could say you could lack going forward a little bit, but it gives you opportunity for your fullbacks to play quite high, and obviously, like I say, you'd have an extra centre half on for defending and attacking corners, mate. So it can work quite well. Wolves did it, I think, when Wolves got promoted under Nuno. I'm sure they played 5 at back and they were really good at it, and it was very attacking as well. Yeah, with Championship, but quite a few teams punched above their weight last season, like Forest plus some in Europe. someone will likely drop off. Yeah, 100%. But things, if they drop off, does that mean your Scum and your Tottenham sort of revert back to norm? If that does, then we know better off, are we really? But yeah, I don't expect Forest. I don't see Forest as a top 6 side, like cemented. Like I see a Villa and a Newcastle. I think that's changed now. I think Newcastle and Villa are in that conversation now with City, Liverpool, Chelsea, with them sides. I think Newcastle and Villa are there for good now. I think your Forest, your Fulhams, who's done it, your Bournemouth, who's done it, I do expect them to start dropping a little bit. But like I say, does that allow Scum and Tottenham to sort of end up back in that top 10 conversation? Hey up, Jay. We finish above Scum, mark my words. I hope so, mate. Duncan, hey up, Matty. And everyone, sorry to be late to the party. Buzzing for the new season with the fixtures out. Fairly balanced run at the start. Yeah, I agree. Bournemouth are not a sustainable club. They live 99% on owner and TV money. Their customer base, assets, and commercial viability is minimal. Oof, very well thought out, that, buddy. A bit too good for me to read out that. Off to bed. See you tomorrow. See you later, Shawnee boy. I'll do Liverpool twice in a month, then Scum. Fixtures don't look bad, to be fair. Weird there's no Boxing Day or New Year's Day. Yeah, it's a bit of a mad one. Still got Liverpool and Scum, though, around those dates. So it's exciting. Christmas period, New Year period. But yeah, I think the start's vital. That we get a win against Everton. Not must win, but vital. I think if you lose that, the pressure then in the next 2, which are very difficult games and potentially don't get no out of the second and third game, potentially, I think that Everton game, it's a bit of pressure there, and there'll be, expectancy at Ellen Road. We do expect them to beat Everton, which is, it's a big ask still. They're still a Premier League side. They haven't gone down as much as they've looked at it at times. Under Moyes, there'll be no mugs. I think they'll be all right. Which side's better playing on, I'm sure he'll be at Everton. The one risk of our fan base is that we're so passionate that it's a bit volatile sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it can be, can't it? Sorry, a bit of a runny nose. Tim the Minion. Evening, Matty. I think you've got a decent chance of staying up, and I agree. And Burnley are going to need a miracle. Also, Bournemouth have lost 2 players to add them to Wolves and Brentford. Yes, I agree, mate. I agree. I think you're Sunderland, aren't you? And I know you have to back yourself. You've got to back yourself. You can't be going into the season as a fan, I don't think, thinking you're going down. You've got to back yourself. But there's a lot of work to be done by all 3. So, I feel we are going to make the right signings. It looks good for us. The calibre of players we're looking at. I do expect there to be 6 or 7 of them potentially, maybe more. Some people are saying we need 8 or 9. I'm expecting out in between 6. I'll do it again. I expect anything between 6 and 8 signings. Just say 7, dickhead. That's right, in between 6 and 8. I'm expecting about 7 signings of all decent calibre, sort of level player as well. So we need to do a lot of work. But I know sort of what's going on at our club, watching news and speaking about it daily. So I sort of see that. I don't pay attention to what everybody else is doing around us. But I know for a fact Sunderland and Burnley need to do more than Leeds in my book. Because I think Leeds are a better side currently. And we haven't lost any of our main players like Burnley and Sunderland. So you've got to do work to get to what you were when you got promoted. Then you've got to go beyond. So you've got a hell of a lot to do. Hell of a lot. Yeah, we do. We couldn't have a parade as Joe Buzz in Dortmund. What a tosser. If Harry is as good as Archie, then he could be ready quite. I hope so. It's just, again, could you imagine, signing players at, having players at 30 million quid rated, say, then bringing on an 18-year-old kid to play up front? It's unlikely right now, but I hope he does get a chance, because I think he could be class. England level player, I think. I said that about Gildart and he fell off a cliff, but I think Harry goes right to the top of the game, hopefully at Leeds United. I just hope. But I also look now at Charlie Cresswell, and he might be moving to Como now for 14 million after we sold him for 3.5. I said then, whatever went on with Farker, that was one of the gripes I had 2 years ago with Farker, that something happened with Cresswell and we lost him. Imagine now, you can't look into a crystal ball and see, but imagine if 8 games into the season, we're shocking and Farker gets sacked, and then in 12 months, imagine 2 years from now, Cresswell's starting for England and moved to Premier League and playing for Man City or something like that. Sounds wild, doesn't it? But Cresswell's a fantastic player, and you look at it and go, look what Farker had 3 years ago, but he were too stubborn to use him or whatever people will say. He didn't play him because of his attitude and stuff. Again, a little bit with Ramazani, I say bollocks to that. It is what it is. Cresswell was a hard one to go. He goes to Toulouse in France. You think, yeah, whatever. And now it looks like he's progressing now. And that one could hurt in a couple of years. Not as much as your Grace potentially and stuff like that. But, you know, if we see Cresswell playing for England in a couple of years, moving back to England at a top club and Leeds are struggling, that'll hurt a little bit because he'd have stayed at Leeds for me if he'd have got game time. But right now, it's by the by. Right now, I'd say Premier League is going to Como. Our trajectory is still higher than Cresswell's, but you know, you don't know how it's going to fall there. It looks like he's now potentially pushing under Cresswell, and it's one of my gripes at certain seasons. Your Cresswell last year with Ramazani, he didn't get the best out of them two players. Didn't matter last season because we got promoted. I just hope the squad gets utilised properly this season. There you go, Andy. I'm 15 minutes behind chat, but there you go, mate. I hope I've just sort of mentioned that. Yeah, Lee, the Rhinos are doing well, mate. Yeah, I'm enjoying watching them. It's been a while. Matty, can you ever see Meslier displacing Darlow in goal? I don't think he needs to display anyone in goal, mate. I think Darlow will be second choice next season, mate. So no, Meslier will move on. But no, no. I don't think it displays me in goal. I'm crap. The likes of Gruev, for instance, are not really Prem quality, but he'll do a job with quality, like, say, Diarra next to him. As you say, someone have too much to do. Yeah, I think they do. Gruev, I think, moves on, BNG. I think he goes. We'll have to see. And I'm a Gruev fan. I really, really like Gruev. I just don't think he's got the physicality to play midfield. But again, he would be third, fourth choice in there. But I think we need someone with a bigger engine, someone who's can carry ball, someone who's a little bit stronger in there. He's a cute player. He's tidy. He's a tidy player. He's a bit like a Longstaff. He's tidy. But again, he hasn't played in Prem. I think Gruev will be out of his depth in the Prem. My opinion. I hope I'm wrong if he sticks around, but I am a big Gruev fan. I think he's very underrated. Championship level, I don't think there were many better at that sort of role he does, where he just keeps ticking over. He's also got a good set piece in him. We saw him take one or two when he ain't bad at that too. But I think we're not going to have as much at ball. I think he's going to have too much to do off the ball, and I'm not sure he's mobile enough and can get around pitches as smoothly as some of the players we're linked with, mate. Howard Wilkinson getting a statue about time. Yeah, they've got to raise a fair bit of money for it, haven't they, fans? But yeah, one or two freebies and pap. Yeah, honestly, I said it on my stream the other night. I've never seen a free transfer list as viable to get for me with the quality that's on there. You know, I really want Kyle Walker Peters as backup. Semedo. There's some great talent on there. Obviously, Josh Brownhill is technically on there. I wonder if Jacob Ramsey from Villa is gettable. I would say not. The fear is for any top player is they will look at it, and the likelihood is that Leeds are getting relegated in their eyes. They've got no emotional attachment to us. The logic, the bookies, everybody will say just based on facts and stats of previous seasons, Leeds will go down. So I think there's certain players who look at that, and I'm playing England and playing Premier. They'll look at that, and I don't think they'll be able to see past it. So I would say no for him. Have you bought a keeper yet? No. But I think it's the most obvious position we need, Tim. So I think I'm quite relaxed on it. I'm not looking at it going, we haven't done it yet. What's going on? I think it's the obvious one. So that will happen. I think there's other important targets we need to get done. I think the goalkeeper, as much as I really want to go get a top draw goalkeeper, I think you can get a serviceable goalkeeper who'll do a better job than Meslier did. So I don't think the club will put too much emphasis on that right now, but it's definitely a key area we need to sign, mate. By the looks of things, we've got two squad players, though in fairness, one of those is probably an improvement at centre-half and the other is a freebie on a 2-year contract. I am going to try and pronounce that name. I am actually. One's Lukit, the help desk. Help desk, hey, mate. Hi, mate. Think a problem with Be All Medical, something to do with his ankle. Don't know if true, but have you heard? I have not heard anything bar what you've just told me, help desk. You're supposed to be helping me at your desk, and that's not helping. I've just stubbed my toe on your desk, actually, and I've said that. Yeah, I hope that's wrong. There's a lot of shit out there, isn't there? You know, people making kits and people talking about transfers and all this shit. I'm hoping that's a load of rubbish. I think people are going to start talking like that now, mate, because we know he's had a medical today. We know we're coming to sign papers and all that. We've seen Fabrizio Romano's tweet hours and hours ago, 12 hours ago now, maybe. And it hasn't been announced, so people will start going, oh, what's happened? I think it'll get announced tomorrow. I really do. He just got married. What's he done? Twisted his ankle on dance floor. I think he'll be all right. 54 in chat. Ain't bad this time of night. No, Jamie, you know me, I like to come on late on. And I tend to do good numbers at this time. It's sort of my slot, this. Out in between 50 and 100, it's nice. I've got a great community. I love you all, man. Please stick a like and please subscribe if you're new here. And please check out my new channel as well. Full Time to Talk. I think I pinned it at the top of my chat. I think it's there. I can't see it on here for some reason on the screen, but I'm sure it is on my phone. Please check out Full Time Talk. I just did my first show with Jake from Puncture 41. He's a Sheffield Wednesday fan, struggles with FND. It's a disability that really hampers his life. And yeah, mental health chat, football chat, bit of banter, bit of some serious messages out there. I get about two men opening up about mental health and the struggles. I think people need to sort of see it, if I'm honest. I would love more eyes on it. Not about numbers, just more about giving it, putting a positive message out there that it's okay to talk. So please check out my channel. I'm trying to get, 1 or 2 shows out a week. It's quite difficult to try to organise to get other people in, other fans in. So yeah, please go over and subscribe to that channel, please. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Sunderland bought Job for 3 million, selling for 35. Good business. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Job was pretty average every time I saw him. Yeah, I remember that game 2 seasons ago at Stadium of Light where he scored a scruffy goal and they beat us 1-0. But yeah, I don't think he's going to emulate his brother. I really don't. I think they're going to try and force it. I think if he does okay at Dortmund, he'll probably get that Madrid move, which will be wild. Because I think just from a commercial, on a commercial level, having 2 Bellinghams playing in midfield for Real Madrid is just, unreal, in it. Let's be fair, it's something that just doesn't happen. So yeah, it'll be great for them, but I don't think he's as good as his brother. I don't think he'll get there. Evening, Chris. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. My exhaust fell off my car while I was driving it today, so that was a little bit of a dampener on the day, but I haven't let it ruin my spirits, mate. I'm all right. It's in garage for tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. It cost me an arm and a leg. I've got another one on the other side of my body, and so it'll be right. Yeah, Matty, when I said previous year, I meant the Wembley last season. Yeah. Well, I've got to make my tea, soft beef tacos beside a bell pepper salad with guacamole. Take care, everyone. It sounds really nice, by the guacamole. But take care, Jamie. Thanks for dropping in, mate. Always appreciate you showing up. Thank you so much, mate. Have a good day. We need to concentrate on us and let others do whatever they do. Yeah, Mr. Whitesnake, 100%. Tim, Sunderland fan. We never won a game last season without Job in the starting lineup, so he was essential. He's definitely going to play for England alongside his brother. We'll see, mate. Yeah, England might not be out of realms possibility. Is Real Madrid a bridge too far? I would say so for his talent, but it wouldn't surprise me if he got there. But he isn't as good as his brother. But is he good enough? Yeah, he's good enough to play for England, isn't he? Let's be fair. There's a lot of players. I think a lot worse if Tom Cleverley can play for England and people like that. Then I'm sure Job will get to England level. I just don't think he's as good as his superstar brother, to be honest. It is what it is. He's going to be in his shadow. It's something he's got to sort of deal with. The problem with the so-called Big Six is that their revenue is so huge they can always buy their way out of trouble. Very unlikely any of them go down. Never. Yeah, I agree. You're quite right. If we strengthen the spine, it will make a huge difference. Liverpool basically did that with Van Dijk, Alisson, went from contenders to champions, 100%, mate. Cresswell looks very similar to Biol in highlights, which annoyingly ironic. Yep. No way, mate. It was his dad that caused the problem. Yeah, maybe. I don't think there was any falling out with Daniel Farke and Cresswell. It's just annoying that we didn't see the best of him for whatever reason, whatever the reason or the facts were. I think he was a future Leeds United captain, and I honestly believe that now. It doesn't matter now. Like I say, we're currently outperforming whatever Charlie Cresswell's doing in his career. But for me, it's one I think we'll look back on and go, he was good enough to stay at Leeds. He was good enough to, play for Leeds, potentially captain Leeds. I think, he's played at under 21 level for England, scored the other night. He's a massive part of that squad and has been for a few years now as Cresswell. Will he play for England? Potentially. Fabregas sees something in him and spend 14 million quid on him. He's a player there. Gruev might go, but I think he'd cope from the bench maybe. Yeah, I just think the profile of play we're looking at goes beyond what Gruev offers. But 100% he's tired enough. Come on with 20 minutes to go. Can see a game out. I don't think he's good enough to start for Leeds. But let's be fair, he won't start him for Leeds in Championship, bar injuries, wasn't he? Off to sleep, work in the morning. See you later. Yeah, Philip, have a good day tomorrow, mate. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. See you soon. I'd avoid players like Simicast who look okay with the odd appearance in the top side. Sterling, for instance, has always been shy, but looked amazing at City. Yeah, are you playing at the Creators Club? I am, mate. I'm number 13 for the Yorkshire Roses. I'm playing up front between me and Joe for playing up front. So, yeah, I haven't been too big on my fitness, so that is definitely going to let me down. But if I can play half an hour, 45 minutes, I'll be happy. But I'm not a bad football player, but it is just my fitness. I've let my saying go, although I've always been a big lad too. So I don't know how my fitness will affect me because I've always been big. I've always been 17, 18 stone, playing five-a-side, and I can get around. But I haven't done out for 2 years, so we'll see how we go. But I'm looking forward to it, mate. It's going to be a really good day. Are you coming? I assume you are. Are you watching? It's going to be class. If Trafford goes to the Mags, you should get Pope. Tim, I think Pope is right at the top of the list for most of us fans. I've said he'd be my number one choice. Some people say he ain't too good with his feet. I don't really agree, and I don't really care. If he can catch a ball and not give us 6 or 7 howlers a season, he'll do for me. I'd take Pope, just worried about his injuries. Yeah, I'd take Pope all day long. Harry Burns, hey up, buddy. Hope you're well, Matty, mate. When fixtures come out, that's when shit get real, ha. Yep. It got real today, Harry. Everton at home on a Monday night. Bring it on. Bring it on. Exhaust fell off, bit of a dampener. Was that joke intentional? No. I should have said yeah. But no, I didn't let it ruin my day anyway. Sam Johnston, yeah, not for me, mate. A lot of people would. Cresswell just wasn't better than Rodon. So, yeah, 100% timing, Chris. Like I said, timing. Just whatever happened with Farkin happened or didn't happen, whatever. But the timing didn't help either. You know, he should have been playing game time for me. There were games where he could have been playing. There were games where he could have been on bench. He could have been that third option. You know, that first option off a bench. It didn't come around. But timing as well didn't help. Night, Michael. Take care, buddy. I always remember Cresswell at home against West Ham. He was brilliant against Antonio. I remember we beat him, didn't we, away from home, and made one mistake at the end, cost us, but he was brilliant. Yeah, he was brilliant. So physical, mate. He was a kid. He was a kid then. What would he been, 19 or something? Going back 5 years, whatever it was. Mark Sove, up, buddy. I'm sure Harrison will be planning some kind of move. Hopefully we can send him to the Saudis for a few minutes. Hopefully, mate. Don't want to see him even training, do we? BMG, Cresswell could potentially have played when Stroud got injured. There you go, to keep Ampadu in midfield. But I guess, yeah, that's it, mate. There was a time, I remember, where he could have been playing, and we ended up moving different components and people around to suit, which really was, for me, you know, showing there was a massive problem there. And there were definitely games where he should have just played him, you know, play centre-half at centre-half as opposed to moving it round. But it didn't matter again, because even that season, though, we didn't go up. You know, Rodon and Ampadu were phenomenal, weren't they? They were phenomenal. So it would be hard to argue with the decision not to play Cresswell, because ultimately it didn't matter. Ampadu give more than what potentially Cresswell would have given. But at the time, it was annoying me that he weren't giving him a crack. 100% it was. And I honestly, in my opinion, believe he will go on and have a really good career, in my opinion. I could put my house on it as not losing that first game. We might not win, but defo will lose. Atmosphere will be electric. Yeah, 100%. I just hope the players can cope with that, because it's going to be some atmosphere. You're right, Harry. It's going to be some atmosphere. Just hope I can get a ticket. And yeah, I'm worried a little bit about those home games. It looks like I'm 99% guaranteed from a mate of mine, from the Garth of Whites. Danny, if you watch this, thank you very much. A ticket for Arsenal away. Oof, my word. Going to try and get some away games. Absolutely buzzing with prospect of that. Make sure you warm up properly. If you haven't played for a while, have a great night, lads. Cheers, Tim. Take care. But yeah, I will do, mate. It's been a while, but it's gonna be a cracking day. I can't wait for it. So quite a lot of tickets personally as well. Like, you know, I've got a few family members coming down, probably about 7 or 8 of them. I mean, I've got like 20 kids, as you all know. I'm joking, I've got 4. But, and then some friends we've made through our Theo's football team, they're coming and they're bringing about 7 or 8. So I reckon I've probably sold 15 tickets coming just to watch me. We'll leave them at 15 minutes. We'll have to see a ticket per minute. Slow down a bit. You've nearly caught up. I know. I'm going to take this off, man. I'm sweating, man. That's like sweating. My ex-pat life in Colombia, mate. I think Everton at home is a perfect fixture to start the season. Monday night, Ellen Road. What more do you want? Exactly like I was a little bit gutted. Not gutted about being in Prem, but looking, I really enjoyed in the Championship the night games on a Tuesday night. I love them. Absolutely love it under lights. I never experienced a European night at Ellen Road personally. So I love, don't get me wrong, playing Plymouth at home on a Tuesday. Don't quite do it for you, but I just love, working all day, knowing you've got that night. Absolutely love it. And obviously going up to Prem, I sort of thought, a lot of Saturday and Sunday games, not much for a week. And then all of a sudden, bang, Everton on Monday night, first game, get up. Really happy with that. I don't think there'll be many, I assume. I might be wrong with that. I also quite like when you get 2 home games, in the same week, a Tuesday and a Saturday. Ellen Road, we had a few of them last season. Absolutely fucking love it when you've got 2 games at home in a week. Unreal. So a little bit gutted with that. Obviously, less games to go to as well. But ultimately, you want to be eating at the right table, the big table. I've eaten at a few tables. Trust me. Farker will surely have to use players more and not stick to the same players like he did a lot last season. Yeah, he's got to. He's got to. You've just got to put faith in him. For me, if Farker doesn't adapt and doesn't change his ways, he won't be there at the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he can go along with only playing 13 or 14 players. I don't think he can do it. I think that bench needs to be full of options like he will use. He needs to learn from his mistakes because his mistakes ultimately have got him sacked and got his teams relegated in past. So, and there's massive context to that. What do you expect of a Norwich? I don't care what they spend. The ceiling's so much lower than Leeds United. They are going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Massive pressure on him now. So much pressure on him. But everything we've seen so far, since winning promotion, especially now, all the time look bang on right, don't they? They look mint. They really do. All the players we're linked with, everything, the stadium improvements we saw after we got promoted, everything they just look like everything's going in the right direction, and the excitement's building now because of the exciting news coming out. We beat Arsenal, and it stops them winning league already in second game. Teams, I think so, mate. I think so. Yeah. Everton could actually struggle, although Moyes is rescue. Yeah, I mean, I don't see him being up there. I see him sort of being middle of the road, maybe in and around us. I just think because they've got Moyes, that will make a difference. That will get them results in certain games that they wouldn't get if they didn't have Moyes in. I don't ever see Moyes really, I don't see Moyes being at Everton and getting them relegated. I just don't see Moyes taking Everton down for me. They've probably got him at the right time now, going into new stadium. For me, they're still nowhere near where they think they probably should be. Flirting with relegation is still a possibility, but I just think Moyes has been around block and he knows how to get points in games where he has no right, so he'll keep it up. Harry, it's a nightmare getting home though when you have work. Yeah, no, it is, mate. It is. Like, you're knackered next day. Don't get me wrong, Harry. You're knackered. You can't be on beer because you're driving next day. I get all that. Just me personally, I proper vibe off those night games. I love it. But yeah, it's definitely difficult next day. When I'm up early, I say up early. I do a school run currently, so I do lay in bed till about 7:30 before I get up and get kids sorted. But it does throw you out 100%. Like you say, you can't have a drink and stuff. You can't make a day of it. But I love it. I love it. Keeper, left back, midfield, 10 and 9 still needs sorting, but otherwise we can get a couple of similar matches. Yeah, and we're going to need to, because what you've just laid out there, they're all starters. We still need some more, decent quality on that bench, and the Metch is going to be one of them, and that's a great start to thicken that squad out with players of a level which we need to compete. Some of the runs of games we have to come is daunting. I hope Farker gets them ready for the first game. It is daunting. Like you say, you don't really get a run, do you, of 4 or 5 games where you think, we've got a really good chance in there. You're always going to have one of the bigger boys in there, aren't you? To sort of stunt any sort of run you might look to go on. In Championship, obviously being better side, you can go on these runs of 10, 15 games, can't you, unbeaten and stuff. You ain't going to get that in Prem. If you can win back-to-back games in Prem as a newly promoted side, you're doing well. But you're not going to be far off a defeat for me, I don't think you're going to go through a cluster of 3 or 4 without a defeat. but I do think we'll get enough points to be out of the running. Be nice, wouldn't it, to get, you know, sort of have that survival sort of nailed on with maybe 4 or 5 games to go and not been dead nervous going into the last few games. Although the last few games don't look too bad either. I mean, what are the last few games? West Ham and Brighton. Obviously, we don't know where they'll be in league. They could have fantastic seasons, who knows? But that last month there, Tottenham finished 17th last year. It looks a tricky game away at Tottenham. It probably will be a tricky game away at Tottenham. I don't expect them to be 17th this year. But that ain't a bad end. You look at that from March. From March, that's a really solid end, that. Sunderland, Palace, Brentford. If Man United and Tottenham are our hardest games in there, they were 16th and 17th last year. Again, they're probably not going to be that this year. But look at those last 10 games. That is a good run of 10 games, that. Don't care what anybody says. That is decent. So, as much as this opening 6 games look very kind to us to a degree, bar Arsenal and Newcastle, but very winnable games, Everton, Fulham, Wolves, Bournemouth. 100% these 4 games there in particular, you can go out and fully back yourself to win. 4 very winnable games there. And then from March onwards, there's 10 there, which, why can't we win at least half of them? At least half, if not more. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, because that middle bit sucks a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it sucks a little bit, but it's going to, if you've got a couple of areas where it looks nice and tidy and looks, oh, okay, it's a good run, you're going to hit some runs that aren't too nice, and that's fine. That's fine. You know, we're mixing it with them now, and we want to be at this table, don't we? So it is what it is. But I do like that last 10 games, aren't going to lie. It's a decent end to season, that. Do you think we will or should get Solomon, Paxal realistic? I would have said no, but the fact we're chucking 30-odd million, 32 million, 28 million plus 6 bonus, 34 million down for lad at Fulham, Munez, yeah, it's realistic, yeah, for me. He is, of course he is. If we're looking at that sort of money for him, 100% is realistic. Sounds a lot of money. Sinisterra were a top player we got from that, you know, that league. We paid, what, 25 for him? Yeah, I think it's realistic. Solomon, I think, I heard Burnley looking at him today. Short. He either stays at Tottenham for me or he comes to Leeds United. But Leeds United shouldn't be waiting around for Solomon. If Solomon wants to come, there's stuff he can do. He can play that card if he wants and push a move, whether you agree with that or not. He can push a move if he chose to. For me, Solomon, I really like Solomon. He got us that goal. Great player, great talent. Proved his fitness now. He'll want to kick on and play Prem football. Great. He's a great option. We're not held to ransom for Solomon. There's players out there better than Solomon. I think Paxal, however you say his name, I think he's potentially better than Solomon. We just haven't seen it in Prem yet. Can't see us getting Solomon. Yeah, I don't know. I think he stays at Spurs. And I think he'll do okay at Spurs. Michael Keane on a free or Tanganga on the cheap. I'd like Tanganga. Michael Keane, we'll have to see if Adam sorts it out. He's already bumped into him in Florida, my mate on Adam from Late Night Leeds. Maybe we'll try to get a deal in there. But Tanganga for 1.5 million, I think, release contract for the Prem side. I'd have him as cover on bench. What keeper would you realistically, my mate? Well, I don't know what's realistic at minute. Pope. If Newcastle sign Trafford, then surely Pope's realistic. Surely. I think Pope's realistic. Go get Pope. That'd be my choice. I hope we play a lot of the top teams in between their European games. Not sure if that will make a difference, but I think it will make a difference. How can it not, mate, for me? How can it not? More workload, more injuries, more just all round more workload, mate. So I think it will. I think it will help. I think it gives everybody else marginal. It might be a couple of percent of more of a chance of winning, but the percentiles in games sometimes, it could be a couple of millimeters where ball crosses line or not. These tiny percentiles, they work hard and everything, the diet, everything a football club does down the way they cut the grass, everything's to get every minimal marginal gain on your opponent you can possibly get, even down to good old Bielsa looking through with binoculars, even though it didn't really matter what they were doing. Didn't matter what they were doing in training, because Bielsa wasn't going to fucking change. He weren't going to change his philosophy no matter what he did. He was just doing it for the sake of it, really, wasn't he? But any percentage, it all adds up. So the fact that they might be off it a little bit, fatigued from playing in Russia or wherever they've played, or, arse end of nowhere on a Wednesday, Thursday night, and then they've got us on a Saturday or a Sunday at Ellen Road, it's got to make a difference, pal. It's got to, and we've got to believe that. We have to be excited about it. It's the whole point of playing in the Prem. It is what it is. Yeah, 100%. West Ham, another who could end up being shit. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. If we did win 5 of the last 10, we'd only need 5 other wins. Yeah, and that 5 at last 10 is well realistic, pal. Well realistic. I think 11 wins, handful of draws, and we're safe. And I don't see any reason why we can't get 12, 13 wins, handful of draws in there. Majority of them wins coming at Ellen Road. A few nice, away days for our loyal, absolute, solid fans we've got. Best fans in the world, best fans in country. West Ham could be poor, but look at the players they still have, though. That's it. The levels, the bench, the sides we are trying to relegate in order for us to stay in Premier League, yeah, have got bench players worth 20, 25, 30, 35 million pound players. That's where we need to be in 2 or 3 years' time. It's a madness. It's an absolute madness. A Metcher could end up being decent. We were worried about Solomon was injured history. Exactly. Who were the last 3 signing we signed, BMG? Who were the last 3 signing we signed? My favourite player, Sam Biden. Where are you now? Where are you now, all you haters? Can you remember we signed Sam Biden? There were so many people saying, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? What a great free signing he was. What a great free signing he was. Just walking in the pitch makes a huge difference. It does. Can he do it on a rainy night in Kiev? I have to see. 12 wins, taking the piss, fella. Who do you follow? Do you think we'll get more than 12 wins? Or do you think 12 wins is too much? Are you not a Leeds fan? Come on, Tommy, speak to me, lad. Speak to me. Is that good or bad, 12 wins in your book? Out of 38 games. Am I way off, Tommy? What do you say, lad? But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there anyway. So get your last few comments in, guys. 11:30. You've had me for an hour and a half on a not so cold and windy night in Leeds. Lovely night. A bit too warm. Honestly, it's so hot. Got a fan on my bedroom, so that'll be nice. But yeah, 12 wins. Is that unrealistic? Barham can do a job in the Prem as emergency backup, never let you down. Yeah, and he'd be happy with that, BMG. He'd be happy with that. Third choice left back, stroke right back. He'll get odd game, cup game, homegrown, and all that stuff. He's a great player to have in your squad. I've always said as well, he's someone to have around physio room, someone just to be in and around there. Any youngsters get injured, he knows that road to recover is tough. Mentality in game, the mental health of players, I think it's absolutely imperative. You've got players like Barham in squad. We've lost Cooper, Dallas, we've lost a lot of experienced players. This guy is Leeds, he gets Leeds, he knows Leeds. He's been at Leeds when we were shy. He's now, he'll be ecstatic to see where Leeds look like we're going now. I think he'd do a lot worse than Barham as a squad player, a lot worse. Great stream, mate. Cheers, Ina. Thanks, mate. Honestly, you watch everything I do. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. I'd better cut loose past bedtime. Good show. Cheers. Hey, BMG, thanks so much for your comments, man. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. I'm not without the chat on here. Not without the chat. But yeah, please stick a like on the video if you don't mind. And please subscribe if you're new here. I've had a few new names on here. Tommy K, please talk to me before I go. I want to know, who do you follow? Are you a Leeds fan who's saying I should be saying more than 12 wins? And it's a negative comment. Or are you a fan of a rival in the Premier League? Are you another fan and you think 12 wins is too much for the newly promoted side? I want to know, Tommy, before I go. Please speak to me, Tommy K. Where are you? Mic drop and run. Speak to me. What's chat saying? What do we reckon? Is he a Leeds fan or not? I'm excited till 3 in the morning waiting for Tommy. So warm. So warm. Right, guys. Tommy's obviously vacated the building. Tommy has left the building. But yeah, please stick a like I say. Please subscribe. And please go over to my new channel. Please. Please. Full Time to Talk. And please subscribe over there. Honestly, I'd really appreciate it. I've got a great community over here. I really have. Really good community. I really appreciate it. Everybody who's in here. I would absolutely love it if you can go over here and subscribe, please, to Full Time to Talk. Please go over and watch my video that I've just done with Jake from Punk Chef 41. There'll be many more to come as well. So, yeah, we will win the first 12 games. Piece of piss. Ha. Go on, Harry. Love it, mate. Right, take care, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. I might just play us out. Shall I play us out with... what have I got here? No, I've not got it actually, have I? It's not there. Never mind. Never mind. All the best, mate. We'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, no worries. Right, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Love yous. Bye-bye.